I look upon my life, there's a passion inside. Heaven knows I'm living my dream.
Good morning, everybody. Yay, man, it's a new year. 2024 is right here. And we at the beginning of February. Can you believe it? Man, didn't January just fly away? It's like really, honestly, time is flying, and what your hand finds to do, you must do it hastily. And that is why we are so happy to be with you this morning. Thank you so much for tuning in, and thank you so much for commenting and talking to us, because I know there are a lot of people out there whose children went to school for the very first time. And I know, I saw the stresses on my children. And that is why we're starting and kicking off Talk with Joan Thursdays with none other than these ladies in the studio. Who's going to introduce themselves in a jiffy. But without wasting any time, if you have your mirrors, we're going to run it again like we normally do. So you know how we jam, right? You have it, man. You got it. So just take out your mirror, and we're going to talk a little bit. And my question for you today is, seeing that it is a new year, right? It's 2024, and seeing that it's a new year, there's new adventures, there's new challenges, and things are happening, and that is our topic for this morning, right? Things are happening on a daily basis, and we see that you have to have new stuff going. Wat sê hulle? Hulle sê jy slaan 'n nuwe blaadjie om elke jaar as dit die eerste van Januarie is. En sê jy slaan 'n nuwe blaadjie op. So we are actually doing just that this morning, right? So now I really want you to take out the mirror, and the question is, seeing that it's a new year with new challenges, new adventures, I want to ask you, so what is new for you for this year? What are you going to do that is new, that you didn't do before, but you're taking up something new in your life, right? I would really love to know what is new in your life. So I'm going to give these beautiful ladies on this very first show of Talk with Joan on the Inside Show, I'm going to give them the opportunity to just introduce themselves and say hello to you. So we're going to start off with our co-host, Violet.
Hey, Joan, that was a mouthful. So I love the energy. She's waking us up, So to everyone who has tuned in this morning, good morning. And as Joan has said, my name is Violet, and I'm happy to be with you in this new year.
Oh yeah.
You know what? I can't. It's unreal to think it is a new year, and that it's the end of the first month.
It's the 1st of
February. So we're starting a new month, and then you ask yourself, where did the time go? Hey, but yes, Joan, this year, I'm not going to talk much because we're going to talk to the mirror just now and reflect, but I vividly remembered this morning that when Joan asked me last year what my goals were, I said, you know what, to be honest, I didn't even reflect yet, But this is a new year. I'm excited for this new year.
Yeah, I'm so
happy.
I'm
going to be intentional about this new year, okay?
Awesome.
So I'm going to not take much of the time. I'm going to because we've got some exciting.
Yeah, we have an exciting woman in the house, and I'm so happy having her here, and we want to thank you for being with us here today. Thank you so much for accepting our invitation. We really do appreciate your time out with us. So we're going to ask you just to introduce yourself and say hi to the people.
Okay, good morning everyone, the viewers. Good morning, Pastor Joan, Pastor Violet, Evangelique. Nice to meet you all in person. I'm Adele. I think by now all of you know that I'm Adele. I'm a mom of 3 daughters. Wow. I have 2 beautiful granddaughters. Wow, I'm currently awaiting the arrival of my 3rd granddaughter.
Wow.
And I'm exceptionally excited. We can't wait. I'm also in education. I've been in education for 35 years. This is my
Is it that long?
35th year.
Oh my
Yes,
word.
ma'am.
Yeah.
So 25 years at the school that my mom started about 27 years ago. And I was 10 years in a public school. A principal of a school, but I love teaching, so I still teach grade 7s. I do Afrikaans. I believe it's important to stay connected to the learners
Yes.
and still be relevant. So
That's
that's
right.
me. And
That's
I'm glad to be here.
beautiful.
Thank you so much for the invite.
Thank you.
With us.
And now we have the very own, you know, the ex-Gap Fest girl in the house here today. So yeah.
Yeah, I was just looking at the cups. I'm like, Gap Fest, but I don't have coffee, and everybody has the Gap Fest coffees.
That's
But
when you come late.
I was so excited to see we have new cups.
they say Gap Fest, but okay. Thank you so much for having me on today's show. I am Evangelique Adams, the ex-host of Gab Fest, but excited to be back in. Haven't been here for like quite some time, be like months, yeah. So it feels new again.
Yes.
So we just hope to jump in and be a bit more flowy than usual. Yeah, thanks for having me.
Thank you very much. So yeah, you heard from everybody now. So now we're going to kick in, right? And I want to really, honestly speaking, I don't know whether I sent you the... I think I did.
Yes, you did.
Last night, no? I sent
Yeah.
everybody the
Yes,
flyer,
yeah,
right?
yeah.
So yeah, I want you to just comment, you know, and just tell us a little bit, say hello to us, because it's, you know, it's our first day on the show.
Yes, yes.
So for the new year, so yeah, so we're gonna kick off with the mirror, because you know that's what we use. I believe in a mirror, because sometimes you feel not so lekker, you feel down and you feel out, but the mirror speaks volumes when you look into the mirror and you look at all the things that is going on in this beautiful face of yours, you know, and then you ask yourself some questions. So I always tell you guys that what I always do when I feel down and I feel a little bit downcast, I take the mirror. The mirror speaks to me, to be quite honest. I go to the mirror and I ask the mirror, so now girl, why are you looking so downcast? Oh no, put your hope in God, man.
Yes.
And that is where you actually speak to yourself.
Right.
And look at the person who's looking back at you, because that is really what is happening. Sometimes
Yeah.
you can actually speak to yourself.
Yes.
And that lifts me. And I'm sure I had lots of testimonies of people who actually listen to the show, and when they get me, then they say, yo, we tried the mirror thing and it's working.
Yes.
And definitely it does. It
Yeah.
just lifts your spirit somehow. So let us go and let us find out. So what is new for you, Violet? If I must talk to you now and ask you. So yeah, it's new adventures and new challenges for the year, and there's so many new things happening.
Yeah.
So what is new for you for 2024?
Joan, you know, for me, I did a lot of reflection, okay, and something that I reflected on is that the little things, this year, I want to make the little things count in my life. I want to practice mindfulness.
Okay.
I want to be mindful of you know, what's going on around me, enjoying the little things in life. Because I think sometimes we rush through life. Because we've got, it's nice to have goals, and I promise you I do have, Benji, I do have goals. Like I said, last year I didn't have any goals really. I have goals. I even enrolled to do my bachelor's in theology because I wanted to challenge my mind. And so I was accepted, and now that I'm accepted, I actually said, I need somebody to talk me out of it. You know. So and then obviously the equipping station, you know, being a lecturer this year, I'm excited because we need to be, Adele, you know, as a principal, as an educator, we need to be lifelong learners.
Of course.
Yes,
So I'm going to
that's
challenge
true.
my mind this year. I'm going to challenge myself. but I also want to embrace my imperfections this year.
Yeah.
You know, because we're so used to Vanjie, when you look in the mirror, I just see my thinning of my hair and I see the wrinkles that are coming up. I want to embrace that because we have another chance to be here. There's people who don't have the opportunities that we have to be here, present in this world, and we just need to look around ourselves.
That's
so
good.
Watch out for me. I know you are so excited for 2024.
Hey, I'm
and
very excited.
I am all in. I'm joining you.
Yes,
I'm joining everyone on this new journey of studies and, equipping myself personally and just enjoying life. I want to smell the coffee this year. I want to be able to smell the roses and be present.
Be
with
present
my
with
people
yourself
and myself.
Yes.
The people that I love. I want to be present.
Wonderful.
Yeah.
Okay.
Awesome. So,
Okay. Okay, when I look into the mirror, I see a work in progress.
Right.
2022 and 2023 has been extremely challenging for me.
Yeah.
And I still don't know how I made it through those 2 years.
Yes.
So I took another look at how am I going to look at 2024.
Yeah.
So God has, purpose in my heart from last year, October, to zone in on prayer. And you know that the Lord has placed on my heart that, we have to become more committed when it comes to my prayer life.
Absolutely.
So apart from my spiritual growth, I would like to do the application of my spiritual growth.
Yes.
It's not just growing spiritually, it's a matter of applying what I'm learning in the Word, praying more.
Yes.
I think as Christians we are tested, and I really want to say I've been tested so much during the last 2 years. En die nie-Christen het uitgekom. But for 2024, I really want to be the Christian that God wants me to be. And I don't have any long-term goals. I have this planner with me, and this planner has actually allowed me to focus so much on doing your focus points month to month.
Yeah.
So in this planner, it tells you like what have you achieved during this week.
Right. Wonderful.
And
Nice.
you reflect on the week and you review, you see what has filled your cup, what has emptied your cup, and how are you going to plan going forward for the next week.
I like
So
it.
I really want to focus only on a week to week.
Yeah.
And in this plan, it actually also helps you in looking, your goals must only be set out for a month,
Yeah.
not for the year.
Right.
So when it comes to the school, I had a meeting before our meeting where I said we are going to zone in on prayer.
Yeah.
So that is basically the school's goal and my goal, praying more, but just doing little things month by month, week by week. And as I said, this plan has really helped me because now and then you jot down a lot of things.
Yeah.
This planner asks you questions.
Right.
How has your week been?
So it talks to you.
Nice.
It talks to me.
Oh.
So I'm just taking it
Keeps
one
you
day at a
accountable.
time.
Yeah.
I
That's
love
awesome.
it. I love it.
That's
And
nice.
Evangelique?
For me, I would say this year I'm not waiting for anybody.
Yes.
And in terms of, I think my whole life, I've always waited for someone to come along with me on a specific journey, whether it be a business plan, whether it just be going to the mall, whether it be, I have list for Wimpy today, but now I need to find someone to go with me to Wimpy. I think all those kind of things, I'm always thinking who can join along and who I can help in terms of come with me, you feeling down.
Yeah.
And I noticed that started making me feel less of a person because I'm always constantly concentrated on how can I make your business a success, but it's my business idea.
Absolutely.
So I've come to the conclusion of I'm done sharing business plans. I'm done sharing, let's try this together, let's do this together. If I can tell you the amount of businesses I've had in my life, but it doesn't come to fulfillment because you're constantly involving others because my lack of confidence, I'm trying to see who else knows the game. And then what ends up happening, you share your business plan and people run with your idea and exclude you from the plan. So this year, my mouth is shut and I'm just doing. So that's one of my biggest things that I want to achieve.
I'm very happy for that. I really enjoyed you guys spoke on a lot of stuff here. I liked everything. That is actually a coaching
Yes, a
technique,
model,
right? So that is why I know about it. Because guys, It's a new year, man. Yes. Kom ons vat die jaar. Let's take this year on with all force, honestly speaking. Because if you are not going to push yourself to the limit, you will never be able to achieve, to be quite honest with you. It's those short steps, you know. It's that you're doing something new also. You're walking.
Yes.
Oh,
Yeah,
yes,
go
that's
for it,
also
go
part
for
what
it.
I want to do,
have
hiking.
quite a-
Yeah,
Yes, I
hiking.
started.
Yeah.
You know what? I joined a club that run walk for
That's
us.
right. That's
And the
something
reason
new.
for that is so that I can have somebody to keep me accountable.
Yeah.
Because I want to be serious about my health. It's,
Yes.
you know, just doing something like exercising. And I told them, you know what? One of my weak points is not being consistent.
Yeah,
And
yeah.
what
Consistency
was
is
our
key.
message the other day?
Yes.
Spoke about
Consistency, yeah.
consistency. So yes, and I think I'm not the only one. There's lots of people that have that as a challenge
Yeah.
to be consistent. So
And can I quickly just jump in there?
Yeah, sure.
Because I said this book is so good. This planner.
Yeah.
Because it actually helps you, find your goals for the month. Your
Right.
well-being, professional goals, spiritual
Right.
goals,
Yes.
relational goals,
Right.
financial goals.
Yeah.
Yes.
So that's why I said you can't put a goal for the year.
yeah.
When you say I want to be financially free,
Right.
it's like from week to week.
That's
and
right.
one month you go back and you say, what have I done for
Yes,
the month?
yes.
Have I really listened my spending?
right.
So
That's
this
a nice
it's so I
plan.
want you
Yeah.
to look at
Yeah.
it really.
It's a nice
It's
plan.
It also
really
helps because when you make a goal that's too far, that's when your consistency
lacks,
lacks,
and you can't achieve
and you
it,
can't,
Yes.
or you feel like it's too far fetched.
Yes.
But if you break it down month to
Yeah,
month,
month
week
to
to
month.
week,
Yeah, what
you start
helps.
achieving
Helps a
more
lot.
little
Yes,
by
and
little.
even
Yeah.
reflecting on your week. How is your
Yeah.
week gone? Did you walk for the week? No,
That's
I haven't,
right.
but you have another week.
You-
Instead of telling yourself for the year,
Yeah.
it's better to break it down.
So I think
Absolutely
the,
so.
the focus should be on one becoming holistic.
Yes.
You know, it's not like you already alluded to the fact that it's not just being spiritual. We need to take
Yeah.
care of our physical
Yes,
self.
yes.
And we need to realize that especially you with young children, right? We've got to take care of ourselves first
Yes.
before you can take care of someone else. Before
Yes.
you can be a blessing. Before you can be make a difference in somebody.
Pour into someone else.
Yes,
Yeah.
take care of
Doesn't start
yourself
with
first.
you.
Yes,
And that's
because
not being
that's where it
selfish, right?
starts.
Mm,
That's
no,
where
it's
it
not.
That's
starts.
not
not.
being selfish.
No,
That's
it's definitely not.
self-care. That's,
Yes.
Yeah.
And you have to do that.
And one has to.
You have to do that.
You've got to.
Because it's what you put into this cup, the self cup,
You call it packing your
right?
shoot,
Packing
right?
your shoot.
Packing your shoot.
That you can
Okay.
give over
Yeah.
to someone
Exactly.
else.
Yes.
Right? You can
Yeah.
only give what you have.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Right?
I've
So that
realized
is what it is,
Yes.
actually. So yeah, my goals, I'm all in this year. And I keep on saying it and I will emphasize it, and you mark my words, by the end of the year I'm gonna tell you this was my year.
Yes.
Can I tell you, not that it is a specific year,
Yeah.
right? But this is the beginning.
Right.
The beginning of my best years to come.
Amen.
This is the beginning of it.
Yes.
And I decree it in the atmosphere because I
Amen.
know that over the years, as Adele said,
Yeah.
we went through stuff.
Yeah.
We went through a hell of a lot of stuff.
Yes,
And
yes.
that I put behind me.
Yes.
I actually said to someone the other day, I said, you know what? I don't talk about the past anymore.
Yeah.
The future's ahead of me.
Yes.
Right.
And it's a brighter future because if I
Amen.
look back,
Yes.
I was coming from Germiston the other day,
Yeah, yeah.
from Sandy.
Mhm.
And when I passed there by Evangelique and them, Alberton,
Yeah.
in front of me,
Yeah.
it was sunshine. But when I look in the rear, in the
Wow.
rear view
You saw
mirror,
the clouds
Storm.
gathering.
there was a storm behind me.
Mhm.
And the Holy Spirit just told me that time, said, you see, don't look back.
Yes.
Look there. Look
Yes.
ahead of you.
Yes.
The future is brighter than the
Amen.
past.
Yeah.
So I believe in that. And that is why I know that this year is going to work. This year is the beginning of great things
Yeah. Amen.
in my
We receive
personal
it.
life. The things and my goals that are set, things that is in the pipeline. And there's certain things that you can't just say,
Yeah, you
because as
can't.
Evangelique said, people
They
take
run
your,
with
they,
it.
they run with
Yeah.
it.
That's
And
true.
that is vital, eh?
Yeah.
That is vital to
It
keep your dreams and your vision and your goals.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Some of
protect
them
it.
you can talk about.
Yeah.
The others, you keep it
keep it to
close.
yourself.
You keep it close. So I have a lot. So I you know that I always ran away from preaching and the podium and stuff like that.
I've noticed you are on
but
fire.
now I'm in. I'm
Oh,
in.
okay,
I'm all
okay.
in. I'm all in. And you must understand, I was only asked on Sunday.
Right.
And normally I would say, oh no, you know how
I'm not going to.
I can't. I
Yeah.
can't. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
But because I know where I'm heading to,
Right.
I'm all in. I'm
Yes.
totally all in.
Yeah.
And that to me alone was the beginning of I can do all things.
Right. Amen.
You know?
Amen.
Nothing is too hard.
Yes.
Nothing is impossible.
Amen.
If you put yourself to it,
Yes.
you're gonna accomplish it.
Yes.
And that is what I found this year is gonna happen. So so we are talking on the new year, new adventures and new challenges, and that is based on back to school, right?
Yeah.
That is why we have Adele as a principal of Feed My Lambs. That is here with us, and we have Evangelique, who have little children, and it was so lekker for me to actually watch them, her and Anka, running around with stationery.
But we don't
and
do the
what
stationery.
and what and what.
Those cues and those lines.
Oh, you don't?
No,
Oh, okay.
I don't have kids.
No. Oh,
Little
no.
Oh
ones,
yeah.
No, I was thinking.
So
at
yes.
school.
Oh, at school. Oh, yes, we do.
Oh no, they do.
We do.
So I want to ask the question to you guys. This is to Adele.
Yeah.
How do you prepare for a new year? Seeing that it's now the end of a year, right? November, December. Children are done with exams. Do you prepare in advance? Do you prepare parents in advance? Do you know that how many newcomers will be in your school? How do you guys go about with the registration, with the stationery lists, and so on?
Okay, so because we're in independent school, we
Yeah.
do our rollout at the end of April, beginning of May of the current year
Yeah.
for the following year. Remember, we're not on the GDE online admissions.
Okay.
So we.
Which is a good thing.
Yeah, I know. But you know, it's different with us because we need to have our parents in the office because we need to find out, can you
Yeah.
afford to have your child there?
Yeah.
If they do it online, they would just, enroll, come to
Yeah.
the school and just appear as if they need to be there. But once they come to the office, we have a short interview with them, give them, the financial summary of the year. So they actually then commit themselves to paying fees for the year and whatever the other costs are. So then going forward into the last November, December, they have to pay for their stationery.
Yeah.
As an independent school, we have no other fundraising efforts,
Okay.
to get our 13 check for our staff.
Yeah.
So fundraising is key in the business. So if you're a newcomer, you have to purchase the stationery from the school.
Right.
But just as I mentioned, 2022, 2023 has been bad. I thought COVID was bad, but last year. So I noticed that the economic climate has changed a lot.
Very.
Parents can't afford to pay, so
Yeah.
we give them up until December to pay for the stationery. So what happens? You have about 2 or 3 who paid. So how do you actually roll out your stationery for your grade 1s? And I can tell you this, the end of the year, we had about 65 learners enrolled for grade 1. So the one thing that our parents don't do, they don't plan. So now we have all these queues the next year. But remember I mentioned earlier on, I had the staff before the school. We normally have our school meeting the first day on the 15th. I called all the staff members. I said, this year we're going to pray. Because, I've prayed last year and I was trying to do things on my own.
Yeah.
But God needed me to know that you can't rely on yourself. You need to
Yeah,
rely
that's
on
true.
me.
Right.
So you're worried about the intake of learners?
Yes.
I'm going to show you.
Yeah.
Things you see in the natural, that's not how I work. I work
Yeah.
in the spiritual realm.
Right.
So we prayed about the school and I said, I trust God that we will get kids. So opening day, we had all these parents lining up. But I must tell you that it's the parents who were not accepted at your government schools.
Oh.
So you see the impact of that. So now it's a parent who comes with a 500 registration, who's not really ready for school, but they want place at the private school. So those are the dynamics of us running an independent school.
Yeah.
So we do our planning, but what I always say, parents don't plan.
Yeah.
Now you have these queues. Now parents are irritable in the queues. But all I say is, we were waiting for you last year, and you now decided to come this year. So we only do our grade 1 stationery, and the rest of the school, they can purchase it on their own. That's our fundraiser. So with the rolling out of our grade 1 year, it's always difficult, and especially 2022 and 2023, because we didn't have a good intake. But God is good, that the fact that we had a meeting, and I said we leave it in God's hands. We are full to capacity now. We're now just trusting that God will work in parents' hearts, to pay fees on time.
Yes. Because you see, I don't think parents understand that, especially in private schools, that you have to pay staff.
Yeah.
You have to buy certain things.
Yeah.
So you don't get a
to
subsidy.
get
And just to mention
school
that,
running.
because, parents come there and they just expect to have the kids there. I mean, I can't even mention how many parents I had to write off debt because they couldn't manage it. But I had to look at this way, that it's the economic climate. Parents can't pay. They really can't. So once they come to the school, they enroll, they have to pay. So we allow them to pay the registration. But they don't have the funds to pay for the month in advance. But we take them, and now it's a matter of just trusting that God, you will work in their hearts. So as an independent school, we are not subsidized, funded by the government or sponsored. So 80% of your fees goes towards salary. And now you have your 40 to 50% who don't pay fees. Do you understand? Now you have to rely on God's grace just to carry you through. So last year has been, I can't even explain. But it was a matter of just trusting God. And this year, I'm not going to worry and look at the parents. God has shown me you are looking at them. I'm your source.
Yeah, absolutely.
They are the resource, but
absolutely.
God is your source.
That's
so
fact.
that's my fact for this year, to just focus on God. And up until now, I'm not even worried. I know that God is going to undertake for the year.
Yes, that's awesome. That's wonderful. So Evangelic, I was watching you guys running around, and especially what was the journey, because the children went to a new school, right? So what was the journey from taking them out of the one school into another school, which was also an independent school, or are they? But you
private
tell
school,
us,
yeah.
what
So, I don't want to use the word. I wasn't running around. I'm very planned, Ma.
Oh yeah, you were very
I mean-
planned. Yeah, you were.
I ain't run around.
And I told you, no?
My personality is book. I don't like, don't take notes on the phone, don't anything, but a book. So with me, the kids was in a school. I must say, the school they were in when it comes to stationery, we got that stationery list on the first day of school. So it was impossible to plan in terms of stationery. But the school they're in now, when we enrolled them, I enrolled my kids in the school last year, June. And that same time, we went through the whole process. And as soon as you made it through the process and they accepted you, they sent every single thing.
Wow.
So I had my 6 months, or let's say 4 months, to prepare, to get everything that was needed. And my personality is write down everything. So with the stationery list, I put Scarlett's name and I write down every single thing. Times, I go as far as writing Chinatown, Checkers, and Crazy Store. And what I do is I compare prices. This I can get here, this I can get there, that I can get here. And as I go throughout the list, I highlight.
Wow.
So if I only got one thing, the shop only had one thing and they need two, I highlight halfway. So it shows that, okay, I did get some of it, so I like the rest of it. So Ashley even told me, I think you take this mothering job too seriously because I have a whole file just on stationery. So for me, I must say the journey wasn't as difficult because I had this whole thing planned out. I had time where I went to each shop and took the stationery lists with the prices. I put everything down. I went beforehand to the uniform shop and I took out a lay-by so that month by month I paid it off. So I could manage it because it's 2 kids, a new school, which means you need everything from the socks all the way to... So it's not something where you just add on a size, add on a size, add on a size. You literally have to get, we need 2 of everything. You need this, you need that. So for me, that was how I went about it. So I was lucky that I didn't have to run around, and that's also where it helped financially because I went to take out all these lay-bys. I am a firm believer as a mother to stick to loyalties. So any shop that has a loyalty card. So with me, I believe I can drive my petrol out, but I stay convenient. So with me, Value and Co, I need to be an ambassador, you see. Because I tell everybody about this loyalty card, right?
Hey, and that loyalty card, it works.
Yeah, Santa got almost 2,000 rands worth of things from Value and Co off a loyalty card. Santa didn't pay for that. Yeah, and then when it came to the list of stationery, everything worked out cheaper at Value and Co. So I was like, okay, it was, I think, 2,000 rand cheaper from a stationery shop as to go to Value and Go. And that's a big difference. But then what was nice, because I have my loyalty points, I got half price on my stationery. So what I did is I first bought Scarlett stationery, then I worked loyalty cards on her stationery, loyalty points, and then went back to get Isaiah stationery with those loyalty points. So if you do plan, like you say, as long as you plan, it is possible to keep up and all those would stay within a budget. The thing is, when looking for a new school, I also took more than a year to find the new school, to see if it fits in my budget, to see if I can do this, can do that. So like you said, when it comes to the planning, that does play a role, and there is a black and a white.
Makes it easier for parents if you plan. That's what I told them, standing in the queue, being irritable and jumping the queue, and it's like in the bank. I told them, if you had done all this last year, remember, you had your we sent out our financial summary for the following year at the end of October. So you can plan. We sent out the stationery list end of September. So if they had paid everything, you can just send your child to school. Now they're waiting at the office, and our admin lady, she's very strict. She said, no one is going to rattle my feathers this morning. They were supposed to pay last year. So let the queues, let them roll, let them do whatever.
Because what can you do?
You can't do anything. I try and be nice and be kind, and we try and send them here because we do our uniform on the premises as well. So now you're in this queue to pay for stationery. To do registration, you have to go to another queue for the uniform. You need to go to another queue for your finances of last year. What do you owe? So I said, if you'd done everything last year, you'd not have been in this queue waiting all the time and going to another queue. So what I'll do, I'll just take them out, and we have a few teachers helping, just to help with the flow of the queue.
So what do you do with kids whose parents didn't pay the previous year? Do you just accept them again?
Oh, that's a tough one, eh? We are not allowed. GDE, the independent director, is very clear on it. You have to carry a child for the year. I'm not actually supposed to say that here. So the following year, you don't take them back. But you have your loyal parents, and you look at their situation, and you look at what happened. They really want the kids there. And my mother had this model for the school. A parent must want to have their child here. They don't have the finances, but they don't want to take their child out. So many times I look at that. They really want to have the kids there. But at the end, I sit them down and I ask them, can you manage? Rather take them out. Don't run up your account. You can always come back. If you take a child out, take them to a public school. just breathe for the year. Maybe your financial situation will change. You can always bring them back. But now the child is here, the child is under stress, and I hate to see kids, receiving those letters. And I just tell the parents, it's not fair. You committed yourself to the school, but now they must get the letters. It's so unfair. And my heart just breaks,
Yeah.
I mean, we had one parent who really just didn't pay, and she was running around for the year. And it was at a point where I wanted to take the child home, and I got to the child, and my heart just broke, and I said, just go back to class. So, but you can't also run a business with your
No,
heart.
you can't, yeah.
You can't,
You
you
can't.
know.
So
And,
Adele, sorry to interrupt you. I'm listening now to the school supplies that the children have to
Yeah.
buy nowadays. Looking back, how has the demands of what they need now? How has it changed? Is it more? Is it more expensive? Is
More
it-
expensive.
I think no, it is, because now remember,
It's ridiculous.
I'm at the school where we've asked for toiletries 25 years. My mother
Yeah.
started in 1997.
Yes.
We've asked for toiletries then, because remember, we have no funding. So
Right.
whatever a child is going to need, it has to come from the school. So those years, your public schools didn't request that. But
Yeah.
now if you look on the list, I think we all saw the joke where they said teachers put in the 5 kg of chicken every
Yeah.
day.
And Omo.
And I'm on the executive board
Yeah.
of the Eldorado Parks Principals Forum.
Yeah.
So we do collective buy-in. All the
Right.
schools have to buy in, and then, the donation we get back, we use in the community.
Yeah.
So I know that schools do get funding for stationery.
Yes.
So then now and then I wonder, why are all the requests there?
Yes.
But I think many times they use the money because parents can't even pay that
Yeah.
donation they have to give at the public schools.
Yes.
Yeah, so the demand is high. I mean, you are going to pay more than R1,000 for stationery.
So you said parents need to plan ahead.
They just need to plan. If I can
Like
really put it
eventually
out there.
planned.
Yeah,
Yeah.
you plan.
Over
And
the-
even,
over
please,
the
I want to
months.
ask you, go to packaging and stationery. I'm marketing all my guys here.
Yeah.
Just look at their pricing. I mean, going into 2025.
Okay.
Just to look at they very affordable.
Reasonable.
Yeah, reasonable. And we do our collective buying from them.
Yeah.
Our school and the other schools in Eldorado Park as well.
Oh, nice.
Yeah.
Wow.
Nice.
So-
You see, it's different from when we were at school.
Yes.
We didn't buy. Our parents didn't buy
Yeah.
stationery,
Mm-mm.
so
Yeah.
it's a total different ball
Yeah.
game
No, it
altogether.
Yeah.
From since we were there,
Yes.
and now the children,
Yeah.
I remember with my children, it was like those stationery boxes.
Yes.
The Walton's
yeah,
box.
The
yes.
Walton boxes.
And
Yeah.
you get it.
And and then you must now go and collect it, but you
Yeah.
have to actually put in the list well in advance,
Yes.
the
Yeah.
previous year,
Yeah.
Yeah. Yes,
to
you
get
do.
it
You
the
do.
first of the school
Yeah.
Yeah, the beginning of the
beginning of the year. So it's a dynamic nogal, no?
Yeah.
That is
No,
very
it is.
sensitive.
It is.
It's a
And
sensitive
haven't-
topic.
And also, sorry, what some schools do also, which I think is very unfair, is they tell you what brand your stationery should be, which is quite
Oh.
unfair because
Yes.
I don't follow that brand thing, based off the fact that something that you can get for 30 Rand, the brand they give you is 89 Rand.
Yes.
So it's like, but this crayon does the exact same thing. It's good quality as well. It's all these kind of things. So why are you giving me a specific brand?
Yeah.
And when you work out the brand that they give versus another brand, you already just save a whole 1,000 Rand. Never mind just looking from shop to shop. In one shop, if you go to Checkers and you look at the brand they say you must buy versus any other brand, it will always be more expensive, where you start asking yourself, do they get a cut? It's like, do they get a cut from this brand? Because why should I get that? And it puts a lot of
It's
stress.
Stress.
It puts
Yeah.
pressure.
Yeah.
And one
Yeah.
thing that I wanted to bring up when we were speaking about even the school fees is that what's not nice, not the school fees, your queues.
Yeah.
the day of, parents get so agitated and irritated that they don't realize that that energy is going to the
Into the
kids.
child.
And
It
now
is.
the child starts with that panic and anxiety,
Yes.
and you want to know why this child can't focus at
Yeah.
school. It's because your
Placed
planning
all of that on the
now
child.
goes AY at home. Everybody's mood is bad. The child knows they don't have the right stuff, so they have that embarrassment as well.
Yes,
I
so
know when
true.
my kids don't have what they're supposed to have, they go into a shell
they
immediately.
do.
And how do you expect a child to focus
Yeah.
Yeah.
and function? Yeah.
I just want to come in there. So with me, I'm really the mediator between the teacher and the child.
Yeah.
So what happens, kids come on the first day, they don't have the stationery. And you know, I've already had my parents' meetings where I tell them, you are placing that amount of stress on a child coming
Yes.
into a teacher's class without the stationery
So
or the
right.
textbooks. But now I tell the teachers, you are not going to victimize the child.
Yeah.
The child doesn't have a payslip.
Right.
Yeah.
The child's not supposed to
Right.
buy it. So
Right.
we are lenient. We go
Yeah.
into the second
Nice.
month where I'm really lenient. I said, like we introduce the tablets.
Yeah.
So they have the books they have to purchase
Okay.
because it is cheaper. They
Yeah.
have one tablet that they use until grade 7 from grade 4. So you purchase the books and it's way cheaper than the actual, your hard
The
copy.
textbook,
Yeah.
yeah.
So shame. I even allow the kids because I teach. I see what they do. They have a tablet at home, so they will come and they will take a picture of the work from a friend who has the work, and teachers will complain about it. I said, why? They're actually creative. They
Yeah.
want to do the work, and to me, it's a matter
Yes.
of getting the work,
The work done, yeah.
We have WhatsApp groups. And I tell the teachers, you are not going to place stress on a child. You place the work on the WhatsApp group so that the parent can have it and they
Yeah.
work from there if they don't have the textbook. But you are not going to victimize the child because they don't have the textbook.
So,
And I allow them, and I mean, some of them, they go for the whole year
Yeah.
without it, and teachers
Yeah.
complain. But I know it's always a monetary thing.
That's
Parents
right.
don't
Yeah.
have the funds.
That's
Yes.
right. That's true.
Yeah.
And that is so considerate, eh?
Yeah.
It's
Yeah.
That
very
is really,
considerate.
it's very kind to be like that as
Yeah.
a principal due to the fact that, looking at the people in our communities,
Yes,
you
yes.
can actually see.
You do,
Yeah.
you
You
do.
see the strain,
You do.
financial
No, you do.
strain. You see that
And
the
your
people
heart- your heart
struggling.
really breaks when
no,
you-
it
when they
does.
come.
No,
Yeah.
it does.
Yeah.
And just
Honestly.
to come in there, as I said, I'm really I stand there for the child. And I mean, I had parents coming from another private school there where there's no access. So the policy at our school is I have an open door policy.
Yeah.
I'm available anytime. You can come in, you don't need to make an appointment. I prefer you to make an appointment, but I want you to have access to the school immediately. So that helps also.
Yeah.
So you can come in and say, ma'am, I'm still waiting on my textbooks, I'm waiting, is it fine?
Yeah.
And I would convey that to the teacher immediately so the child can be at ease. You
Oh,
don't want the child
wonderful.
that's stressed
Yeah.
out for the
Wonderful.
day.
I'm
That's
so glad you
wonderful,
mentioned
man.
the stress of the children.
Yes.
Because we sometimes forget about the children.
a fact.
Now you must know with the public schools, the amount of stress that the children go through. I remember one of my friend's children only being accepted 2 weeks after the
Later.
schools reopened
Sure.
last year, and that child actually didn't make the grade
Shoot.
because he was struggling to fit in.
Yeah.
It was a new school, new environment, so we never think of the stress that the little
yeah.
ones
The
have.
little one, and I really don't allow that.
Yeah, so for the
I-
longest time, he was
Yeah.
the new kid on the block.
Yes.
Shame,
Nobody
man.
wanted to play with him, so we had to counsel him through that,
Shame. And I go
Yeah.
into the class. If there are any new learners,
Yeah.
I tell the class, and I do it myself. I don't
Yes.
expect teachers. We have old school teachers.
Yes.
So they feel they can met hom way vind.
That's right.
I go into the class, there's a new child. Did you meet the
Yeah,
children in the
yeah.
class? Please befriend her or him. So that the child has a friend for
That's
the day.
right.
And that child is happy. You can't
Yeah.
have a new child and the child is miserable. To me,
Right.
I tell the staff, if you have a happy child, you will have a happy
Happy.
parent.
That's a fact.
If you have
And a happy
parent,
learner.
yeah, so that is what we
Yes.
want.
Passing
And-
student.
and-
A
Yeah.
passing
yeah,
student.
that's what we
Yes.
have. Yeah, so
Yeah.
so you
That's
just make it
awesome.
easy.
So
for
what is
the
your
child.
first day like
At school?
at school?
Okay, so
When people now come, look,
Yeah.
there's a lot of first time,
parents.
say amper visitors, first time parents, first time children, grade ones especially, shame.
Yes.
You
Yeah. Okay, so we have orientation on the day before school reopens.
Oh,
So
okay.
we have our grade R's and our grade 1s.
Oh.
Our creche, we open on the 15th
Yeah.
because parents go back to work. So they open, they're in classes. The following day, we have our orientation where the grade 1s come. So it's not the rest of the school. They go into
Okay.
their classes, they
Yeah.
meet the teacher, they find their seat. So when they come the following day, when school reopens, they know exactly where to go.
Okay.
With our school, because I said we have this open door policy, our
Yeah.
parents come into the school, schools don't allow that. You are not allowed to go into the school, you know. You have to drop your child off at the gate. But I allow it, even for the first 2 weeks, just for the child to be settled
Yes.
and to find the transport.
Yeah.
And remember, I'm still going back to how I said we're praying this year. This year we're praying. I said I
Yes.
want a smooth running of our first week.
Yeah.
So normally the beginning of the year, you have a lot of transport issues where kids are left behind. The transport doesn't pick up the little grade 1 child, and I have to phone. They phone me all the time. I have to run around. We have one of our GAs. You will get in the taxi, take the kids home. God has been so good. This has been such a good year.
Wow.
Not one issue up until today.
Thank
Thank
God.
God.
Yeah.
All the kids are going home. We also have a guy who lives on the premises. So if there's any children left after school, they will stay with him until the parents come. And parents take advantage of that. They will come up until 6 o'clock. I mean, last year we had a parent coming at 7.
No.
Because they know there's someone, they just leave them there.
Yeah.
So our parents
You just leave your child
Yeah.
with
How
it.
can one
They
do
do
that?
They do. I wish I could leave my kids, you know,
Yeah.
then.
Yes.
But luckily, as I said, we start our morning with a prayer. And many times when parents are frantic, I will tell them, we pray for your kids every morning. Devotion starts first. And we've even, rolled it out where kids pray in the morning in class. So just for that extra protection, don't be stressed out. And as I said, with the open door, you can phone and say, I'm running late. I'm picking my child up.
Okay.
Yeah.
So they will keep the kids at.
Wonderful.
Yeah.
Wonderful.
Yeah.
So now, how was your first day eventually seeing that the children went for
The first
to a new school?
So with our first day wasn't that bad. So the kids going to a new school, they had something called an intake party, but that was last year. So once you were accepted, they had a party where they introduced all the parents and all the kids to all the staff, basically. They didn't know who's their teachers or where's their classrooms, but it was more of a, this is how the school works. There was a presentation, the principal spoke, the vice principal spoke, certain teachers spoke. So the kids got a feel of the school already.
Okay.
And then the day before school opened, they also then had another day, but what was only for the grade R's and the grade 1s. And on that day, they obviously asked parents to please stay there and not leave, because the day was only 2 hours long. So we got there in the morning. The teachers took the grade R's and the grade 1s. Each one got to meet their teacher. They went with their stationery so their parents could drop the stationery off in their classrooms. They took the parents to go see where's the classrooms, to see the feel. And then parents went back to the wall. They had like presentations for the parents, and right after the presentations, they had coffee and muffins to keep the parents busy for the 2 hours that the kids was in the class. So while they were in the class, they had a mini, I don't know, Isaiah still hasn't told me what they did in there, but he was excited when he came out. He's not one to share, we did this, we did that, we did that, but he was happy when he came out. So that was nice. So the first day, it was Scarlett's first time now, because now Isaiah has now already seen his class and everything. And we were supposed to just drop the kids, but thank God it rained.
Oh, okay.
And because of the rain, they had different tents up where you were supposed to go drop the kids according to your grade and leave the stationery. But then because it was raining, we got to go see where the classes were, because now parents were allowed to go straight to the class, onto the premises. And my child, I don't even have a first day picture because my kids were but too excited. So
and that's what you want.
that's what you
they
want.
must-
So for me, as much as it's it was an easy run. For a parent, it's about emotional because like you didn't need me to take you through the process, and you didn't need this and that and that. So it was a very, very smooth run, and I think it was because the school had so many things in between that the kids could come beforehand.
Yeah.
And also once your child was invited on the fundraisers, like with the movie nights and stuff, we as students that's coming next year was also invited to those fundraisers. So when there is a movie night, because I've already been accepted and they know for sure you're coming next year, you
We're
got the
allowed to go.
invitation to go to the movie night as well. So the kids got to mix with
With
the
the
kids already and stuff like that. So that was nice. Scarlett took a bit long to get friends. But with her situation, it was the first day everybody asked about her cochleas. So I think that put her in a bit of a shell. So she was scared and hesitant to speak to anybody because she said, everybody keeps asking me what's on my ears, what's on my ears. And then it took one girl just to say, you look so cute with the lights on your ears. Because what does she say? She says, she always blush at me. She blushes on me. Then we say, why is she blushing on you? Then she says, because she says I look cute with my cochleas. And since that day, she's just opened up. She has friends in every class. She has friends at extramurals. It's
Which
just,
grade is she?
she's in grade 2.
Okay.
And for her, I think that was one thing I was worried about. The fact that, you know, as much as this teaching, you want your child to be happy.
Yeah.
So
No,
I was
you want
worried
them
the
to be
first
happy.
week, but as a parent, you also need to keep that positivity because you don't want them to go in the shell.
Yeah.
No, you just go play, run after. If you see someone running, just randomly run with and all those kind of things. And only afterwards, after the blushing situation, when I realized it's not about making friends, it's about the cochleas, it made it a bit easier for her to adapt with other friends. So that was the only stress I had, the please make friends.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
And I always used to ask them,
Yeah.
so what's your friend's name?
Yeah.
So I put them under pressure, but
Yeah, yeah.
what's your
Oh,
friend's
okay,
name? You
yeah.
must make friends. You
Yes,
must
yes.
make friends. So I had lots of names from Isaiah.
Yeah.
And we actually say because he had the same
Friends at the
name
old
at the
school.
old school.
So we're like, you
Oh,
lying,
So
you
he said,
can't
"No,
have.
you lie." He said it is. It is only.
And after
Yes,
parents
it's
meeting, I saw the names. I'm like, oh, it is really his
Yeah.
friends. Yeah.
Yeah, and it is a concern if they don't make friends.
Yeah.
I mean, my granddaughter as well.
Yeah.
My daughter will say, so we just walks on the playground, and then my heart breaks.
Yeah.
But then she's a loner. She
Oh,
prefers
yes,
being alone.
yes.
And the sister loves friends.
Yeah.
But it's important they should have friends. So
Yeah. Now, Adele, what do you do when a grade 1 child says they're bored? My granddaughter is bored. She's grade 1 and she's bored of school is boring.
is she in grade 1?
Grade 1.
Really? You see, but now teachers
I
are
think-
supposed to pick up on your kids. You should
Yeah.
know your kids.
Because she's reading her sister's books already.
Really?
The grade
Yeah, they
3
should challenge
books,
her.
yeah.
If a child is bored, I say a child is bored because the child is not being challenged.
Yes, I also
And that's
told
what
them.
teachers need to pick up
Yeah, she's
on.
not stimulated. Yeah.
She's not stimulated,
Yeah.
yeah. So they need to, give her work.
Yeah.
And I mean, with us, in the past we could,
Yeah, I
plaaskinders
remember.
oor
Yeah.
na die volgende grade.
Yeah. Yeah.
But it's not allowed.
It's not
The
allo-
department
okay.
will not allow it.
Oh, okay.
Although we independent, we still registered with them for our
Yeah,
registration.
yeah.
We still submit our,
Yeah.
our schedules there. So you can't do that. Because now then children are bored. Remember we had a reader, a child who could read anything at the age of
Yes.
4.
Yeah.
So with her, I think that was the last child that we really, placed in another grade.
Yeah.
Because she was completely...
Promote them.
Yeah, we promoted them.
She was advanced already.
She was
Yeah.
advanced. She was 4. I
Children
still
like that.
taught...
But you do find children like
do
that.
find-
Yeah, they are your gifted kids,
Yes.
and they need to
Yeah.
go to a school. But I mean,
Yeah.
if she's bored, they must just give her extra activities.
I told her.
Yeah, and the mom must tell,
Yeah, she must
communicate
go
with the
and-
teacher.
yes, yeah.
Okay, so at your school, for instance, what would you say are the challenges that you are facing, today, now, at school? What are
Okay.
the challenges?
Okay, apart from fees, parents that can't pay fees, it's the type of learners that we have. Now remember, because they're independent, it's your child that's a bit more spoiled. parents can do a little bit more. They are more sitting on their devices at home. They come into the class being more tired. That's a challenge where our teachers need to really look at, did the child sleep last night? Because I know with my own grandkids, I'm the grandmother, they don't sleep.
Yeah.
They'll be awake until 2 by me. En ek sê vir die male, ek is nie almal in die bed in te sit nie.
Yeah.
It's by Yaya's house.
Yeah.
So, but at the parents' house, they need to be more disciplined, curb the usage on devices.
Yes.
And make time for them to sit and do their homework, because that is what we find.
Yeah.
Ill-disciplined learners, children who are really, what is it, what they
Aggressive. No,
not aggressive, disrespectful
okay.
towards teachers. I mean, one girl in grade 7 told Alyssa, she was speaking to her, sit down, and then she said, no, I won't. Why do you want me to sit down? So that's what we deal with.
Are you serious?
Yeah. But luckily, it's not, it's not most of our kids. But we do identify those learners.
And what do you do in a case like that?
Well, Alyssa is also a kids coach at school. We do Zeal for
Oh,
Life.
wonderful.
So those type of kids, we take them out and she works with them one-on-one.
Wonderful.
We actually had a learner last year, and I just want to mention that, she really did a good job. This child was in 4 different schools.
Yeah.
This child couldn't cope in the school. When she goes into a classroom, she would scream. So something happened, and, she went to different psychologists, and, her father's working at one of the high schools, and the principal, who's my friend, she phoned me and she said, Adele, please just see if you can help this child. She's very clever, but she can't go into a classroom. So she came to the school, and we had this nice chat with her. You're going to like it here. I had the class set up, please befriend this girl. It took us about 4 months to get the child into a classroom. The teachers were already, they were agitated with me. Why is she getting preferential treatment? But I told them, all the other kids are waking up and going to school. It's just this one child. We just need to do it for her. Just for that one.
Yeah.
So if you're not going to do it, I'm here. And we worked for that child. And I just had a report on her yesterday.
Wow.
Just because we work, that child is in class. She's happy. She's doing her work. She's almost an A student now. Just because some love was shown, and that's all I require from the teachers help.
Yes.
You don't have to go out of your way for the whole
That's
class,
right.
but you run for that one. So Catalia was outside, and her mother had to pick her up in grade 4 at 1 o'clock. And the teacher said, yes, she's missing out on classes. I said, it's fine. We need to get her into class. And the day we get her in class and she stays in class, then she can stay until 2:30.
That's right.
But for now, let's get her into a class.
Yeah.
And Alyssa really worked. And I mean, at a point, I felt that was a demonic attack on that child's life.
That's true,
Where she
yeah.
wanted to commit
Yes,
suicide.
yes.
But God has been faithful. So those are the things that we deal with.
Yeah.
But you need to, deal with it in prayer.
Yeah, that's a fact.
Such a beautiful story. You know what? Because now one can think how many of the children who are, not okay.
Yeah, dealing with their own
dealing with
issues.
their
Yeah.
own emotions.
Yeah.
Because remember, we've got divorced parents.
Oh,
we've got
yes.
all the challenges. We, a friend of mine who's a social worker years ago used to say, we do not realize that children also become depressed.
Oh, yes,
So
they
the,
do.
Whatever the parents go through, it affects the children. Pick up
That's
on
true.
the,
It
does,
the
it does,
atmosphere,
yeah.
It's very
and it
true.
affects them too. And I learned even from my own
Okay.
divorce
Oh, okay.
that they say that the children blame themselves. They blame themselves
they
for
do.
your divorce,
Yes.
which is not supposed
And
to
it's
be.
not supposed to.
So
yeah.
can we imagine now how many children are going through that? It
Yeah.
was now, and nowadays, I'm sorry to say, but it's become a norm to be divorced. You know.
And your
And
teachers must
so
be.
you've got so many people giving up on them, and they forget about the children
Yeah,
that suffer.
but my teachers,
Yeah.
I want them to be sensitive to
Yeah.
that. I said, your first day, you need to pick up.
Yeah.
You look
yeah.
at your class.
Yes.
90% will be okay,
Yeah.
but the 10%,
Right.
and we need to work with them.
Yes.
That's all I'm asking.
Yes.
I just want to see the 10%
Yeah.
who's not okay, whose
That's
parents, who's not waking up. I mean, we are an independent school, but I even said, there are kids who don't have lunch.
Yeah.
And this year, I want, if it's going to be you are going to give that child lunch for the
Yes,
day.
yes.
Because it doesn't mean that they're there,
That's
the parents can
wonderful.
afford. So we must just be there for those kids.
Yes.
And that's it.
One thing though I also wanted to bring up that I find personally is a challenge is with schools. And I spoke about this on Gab Fest once, and it's still current right now is the homework. You need to keep in mind with homework. For me, I don't understand the concept. I understand it's go over what we've learned in class and all those kind of things. But there's some kids who come home to someone that doesn't understand the work. So when we spoke about it on GabFest, we brought it up as what happens if a child goes to a granny that didn't finish school or go to school. Now I must do math and I must do this and I must do that. And somewhat, as much as you're saying, yes, there's some parents that do have, but for me, I feel that homework automatically puts some kids at a disadvantage because there's no one to explain the work the way the teacher or a way a mother who is at home. Remember, financially, we're all trying to hustle. And when people come from a real job, they try to do a part-time job just to get money and extra funds and all of that. And when you look at the price of school fees, if you want your child to go to a proper school, because what's happening now also with schools is some schools just look like it's a crèche. It just looks like kids, and I'm not saying nursery school, I mean like crèche, that when you just come and you sing songs the whole day and there's no work being done, watch movies the whole day, despite what you pay. There's some schools that's just like that. So you always try to sort out a school where my child's actually learning something. And obviously that becomes a bit more pricey. But then with that comes homework. And me and my friend was literally actually having this discussion yesterday. She's also new at the school, and for her, she's shocked because at my kids' school, every week they send the kids books home that you must sign to see how they've been adapting in class. So what they do is like with the textbooks, and maybe you can use this for those kids that don't have. What they do is they buy the textbooks as the school, and what they do is they work at school with the textbooks, and only their homework books get sent home. So the same kids will use it over and over until there's a new syllabus, basically.
Yeah, it's like we did. Remember when we were
it's true.
Yeah. So, but then she was saying she works and she only finishes work at 7. By 7, your child is supposed to be bathed and have eaten already and ready for bed. So what happens now is the grandfather picks up the child. But now the grandfather is doing homework with the child, but the answers are wrong because he's trying to understand the work, but he's giving wrong answers. So what happens when she gets to a test, she's putting the wrong answers because the wrong explanation was given to her. Then mom comes home and tries to re-explain. But now you're giving me 3 different, because the teacher said this, grandpa said this, and mom said this, where she's at a point where
She's frustrated.
she doesn't know the answer anymore. And I think schools also need to take that into consideration. Is there someone at home to help with homework?
No, I just want to mention this because in my meeting, that's why I say I hold my parents accountable. I said no child has to sit with homework after 8. I said no child comes home with work unexplained.
Right.
And I teach. That's why I say I want to remain relevant. I challenge my grade 7s. I let them go home early. I said if you finish my work, then you don't have homework. And don't give them a lot of homework. And why is there a need to give kids homework? They're supposed to be learning at school. And I know it's just to ons roep dit vaslegging, juffrou onthou. Vaslegging. But they don't need to sit every day. That's why kids don't enjoy school. They work at school and they go home.
Then they must go home. They can't go play. They must go work.
There's no work for them. So I really tell the teachers, don't give them homework. And talk amongst each other. You give the core subjects, and it's the 3, English, Afrikaans, and mathematics. But 2 a day. And moet hulle nie oorvloei met werk nie. Those kids must still go home, and they must still enjoy coming back tomorrow. Now the work isn't done.
Because you're actually taking the child out of the child.
Out of the child.
You know what I'm saying? Because that's why children, when they're adults, they're a mess because of the fact that they skip stages in their lives. They don't have that. So, beloveds, we came to the end of our show. Can you believe it? That is actually what we discuss today, and there's such a lot to speak on this topic.
Yes, yes.
But we actually just touched the surface, to be quite honest. But we've learned things today. And this year is a year of equipping yourself and learning and taking things forward. So we want to thank you for tuning in. May you have an awesome, awesome week ahead, and a beautiful weekend. And I would like to ask my guests just to say ta-ta to you, because we came to the end of our show.
That was
That's
so
how
quick.
quick it went.
Oh,
And
it
you
was.
still wanted to say
There's a lot to
something.
say, but
Yeah,
thank you so much.
So come, you can go ahead.
Okay,
and
no,
just
I really
thank-
enjoy the topic, and I think a lot was said, and I'm hoping that, there are some parents that can,
Yeah.
listen
Yeah.
and take heed.
Yes, awesome.
Yeah, I also enjoyed this topic. It brought back memories for me too as an educator. And I just wanted to say, let us focus on the good, because
Yes,
even in all of the
absolutely.
chaos and in everything that is, the changes that is happening in this world, like I said earlier on today, I just want to zoom in on the good things, on the little things. So let us, two things that we can focus on, or it's one thing actually, but it's two words. It's be kind.
Yeah,
Oh, yes.
Just
yeah.
be
Just
kind.
our theme for
yeah.
the
Yes.
the school
Yeah.
theme.
Yeah.
Oh, wonderful. Okay, Evangelic, say.
Thank you so much for having me. Topic was insightful with somebody who's actually a
Yeah.
principal.
Yeah.
Because sometimes you have these conversations,
Yeah,
but never from somebody
With
with experience. Yeah. But it's admirable because it's a private school in an area that's not as established as the suburbs, but that there is that form of education there. So yeah, I would also just say, plan. Plan for your kids. You make your life easier. That negativity doesn't jump onto the kids. And also one thing, if I can say to parents, if you do have a problem with the teacher or the school or the uniform or the stationery, don't speak in front of your kids,
children,
because your kids might be having a very good experience, but that negativity, all of a sudden they find a problem with the teacher. All of a sudden they also have issues and start speaking ill, and then that's how they stop enjoying the experience. So I would say there is issues with teachers. Yes, there is issues with the school. Not everybody is perfect, nor are we perfect. But if there is an issue, deal straight with the school, with the teachers. Leave the kids out of it and don't speak in the house about it, so that the kids don't catch on that as well. So yeah.
Well, thank you so much. Thank you for tuning in. We didn't even get to read all your comments, but thank you so much for tuning in. May God bless you and go in the peace of the Lord. I love you. God loves you best. Mwah.
There's a passion inside. Heaven knows I'm living my dreams. As I look upon my life, there's a passion inside. Heaven knows I'm living my dreams.